she's given away a little bit. It is about radio. And lo and behold, it was actually a week ago that Lise LeBlanc came to visit me. And I said, well, what else do you do? She says, well, I think we're doing this thing together. And I said, what's that thing? And it's MoMondays. And you're all here, and we're going to talk a little bit about motivation, I suppose, but more importantly, about some of the weird synergies that happen in life. For example, Lise and I. Candace and I, although I've never interviewed Candace. Yet. Oh, okay, so the yet part. I was going to start with a little something to give you a teaser, actually. In reality, you know, it hasn't been that long since radio was invented. In fact, it was the 2nd of June, 1896, British patent number 12039, titled Improvement in Transmitting Electrical Impulses and Signals in an Apparatus Therefore. That doesn't sound like radio, does it? But it was. And in fact, if you know who it was Guillermo Marconi who really took out that patent. And in 1906, he was given a Nobel Prize along with another researcher. And what has it done for us? It's done crazy things for us. How many of you listen to the radio? How many of you listen to the radio? I mean, everybody's got to put it because it's past tense. How many will continue to listen to the radio? The future. Yes, we all put our hands up. Why? Well, because it's different. It's not TV. It's not print. Let me put that over there. You can turn it off, of course. It's no doubt. You can say, I want to change the channel. In fact, globally, and I got this from the CIA, 44,000 radio stations in the world, officially. Ones that are registered. There's lots of other radio stations out there, and we have the benefit of having something called community radio. Does everybody know about community radio? Yeah, I get some nods. Does everybody know about CKLU? In fact, I'll do it for you. CKLU. How many of you know about CKLU? It's not far away, right? And if you don't, boy, you're going to go and look it up. 96.7 on your FM dial. There, we'll put a little radio voice for you there. And I get this immense pleasure of doing these interviews with people who have stories to tell. So I'm really not going to share my story, except frame it in the sense that certain things happened. Well, Sky talked about Sudbury Secondary School. Do you know Judy Strawn? Yeah. How many of you know Judy Strawn? Yeah. She gets you to do things you don't want to do, right? She's over at Sudbury Theatre Center now making other people do things that they don't want to do, but they really do ultimately. So just down the street, YMCA, early morning, 6:30. I'm swimming, I'm doing my laps, I'm trying to lose a little bit. Aren't we all? Maybe. Life has just been really generous to me. And, you know, I do see these platters of pizza even, and I think, ooh, I could do about 4 of those. And yeah, but then I'd say, I'm going to go swim. I am going to go and do a few laps. And I'm doing them. And Judy swims up to me and she says, you know, you've got a great voice. And I said, everybody's got a great voice in the pool, right? They do, because it sounds fantastic. It's just big space and there's water and you're all humid and you can do it, right? And I say, thank you very much, Judy. And I continue on. I think, gosh, now she's watching me. I better do a few more laps, right? So then she comes up to me the next day and she says, you know, have you ever done radio? I said, well, as an interview person, like I've been on the stage and people have asked me questions, but no, I've never had been on radio. Like, what are you asking? She said, well, we'll talk about it tomorrow. And I'm in the pool again, and she comes up and she says, you know, you should have a radio program. Hey, I'm setting you up, folks. You know where we're going with this, because the next day she swims up and she says, I've set up an appointment for you with Rob. He's the general manager at CKLU. And I said, what? She says, yeah. 5 in the afternoon. I think that'll work for you because you work during the day. And I said, well, thanks for thinking about that, but 5 o'clock, what are we going to talk about? She said, I don't know, but go and meet Rob. And I did. And he said, so you all ready for your radio program? And I said, what? He said, yeah, it's on at 6 o'clock. Didn't you know that? And so I went to the internet and I thought about the thing that I could talk about the most without really thinking, because I had to have some content. And I went to the page called pasta on Wikipedia. Do you know how many kinds of pasta there are? There's 380 kinds of pasta. Many of them are long pasta, some are short pasta. Let's give you an example. Tagliatelle. Long or short? Long. Okay. Well, there's all kinds of shapes. Radiatore. Since we're here at Rob's place, radiatore. Who's had that before? It's shaped like a radiator, right? And the idea is that it's got to pick up lots of sauce. So radiatore. And then of course there's soup pasta. So I spent 28 minutes listing the kinds of pasta that there are out there in the world. Some are new, some are fresh, some are old, some are egg-based. And I went on and on because there was no hope that I could put together a radio program in an hour. But I could talk pasta. And I did. But that's the fun part of it all. There are serious pieces to radio. Let's face it, if we went to Africa or many other parts of the world, radio is the only way people get information. There are no newspapers. In fact, we're seeing a decline of newspapers here in Canada. In fact, since we talked about gender just a moment ago, radio is gender-free in many ways. If you are a woman in Africa managing a small plot of land, maybe there's something on your radio station in Tanzania that talks to you a little bit about fertility or seed that's available or new methods of tilling the land. What if you are a political activist and you think you're all alone? The radio station might share some of that with you and share the idea that you have a voice as well. Remember, 44,000 channels out there. It's not all music. Sometimes it's information. Sometimes it's weather. You know yourself driving down the road to Toronto, it's very useful to use the radio to know what's coming next, what you might experience in terms of road conditions. If you have a desire to do anything, I might suggest writing. But that's what I do normally. I got pushed out of my environment, and Judy Strawn, she did it. I got pushed into radio. And with that, I would encourage you to step up. I will tell you right now, every community radio station, including CKLU, would love to embrace you with your ideas. There's a space for you to have a voice, and more importantly, to bring guests on to your program and share their stories. Lise LeBlanc, let's wrap up with a little bit of what Lise LeBlanc is doing. She invited me to be part of a book that she was writing, and we chatted maybe a year and a half ago. And before you knew it, we were deeper into conversations that I really didn't want to go into, but they were incredibly cathartic for me. And then she shows up at my office and we do this radio program, and it all became this finalized package that had a ribbon on it, and I felt that the project was done. Now, for me, radio is not done. I'm into season 5 right now. Season 5. I can't believe it. That means I've talked to 5 times 52, 250. Well, let's do the math just a minute. Anyway, it's a lot of people. And the worst thing about it all is I've done many more interviews than are even there. So, without talking about podcasts, I will tell you right now, the world is available for you to share your story and their stories. Thanks.